you guys can consider doing the tax exempt bond financing strategy, which is what we're doing for our development in Kaukauna, Wisconsin, and in Princeton, Texas. So
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Very good. And you two met through Vina?
yeah, we did meet through Vina. That's right.
Financing strategy, which is what we're doing for our development in Kaukauna, Wisconsin, and in Princeton, Texas. So
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, I hear some feedback, so I'm gonna mute.
yeah, we did meet through Vina. That's right. Financing strategy is what we're doing for our development in Kaukauna, Wisconsin, and in Princeton, Texas. So
I think it's being replayed on your screen right now, Ivan.
Feedback, so I'm gonna mute.
yeah, we did meet through Vina. That's right. Financing strategy is what we're doing for our development in Kaukauna, Wisconsin, and in Princeton, Texas. So yeah, it's being replayed on your screen right now.
Feedback, so I'm gonna mute.
Yeah, we did meet through Vina. Right.
I'm trying to fix that.
And you're also live on YouTube.
There we go.
Yep.
All right, I had to close YouTube, but it's still streaming. All right.
Morgan, can you talk now? And Jake, just to
Yep, you got it.
awesome.
All right, so we are our audience. We are putting together a 60-unit deal, is that it, right?
Yeah.
This is a piece of land that will soon be under contract. It's got 2 houses on it. Those houses are gonna be demoed,
Yep.
and
it's good. It's zone mixed use, so commercial stores on there and apartment on top.
And so what I've done so far is just kind of put in the year built, whole period. That's whatever you want it to be. This is going to be a market rate deal, and it's probably going to be one building. Typically, what we do here is we leave these standards of rent growth. There are absolutely no rent growth in year 1, year 2, 3, and 4. Typically, we stepped it up to 3, 4, 5%. That's going to be market specific. So our market study, when we get to that point, will give us what these numbers are, but these are pretty standard increases. We try to underwrite our deals at a 95% occupancy level, but I don't stress them that high. As you can see here, we've got a 4% physical vacancy and a 3% economic vacancy below that. We always have to build in at least a 1% economic vacancy, and that's for bad debt. That's assuming you've got some tenants there that are still living there that haven't paid rent. So we always build in a 3%, a 1% number here, but I always go 3% just because it's just a little extra precaution, some cautionary measures. And so we've got essentially a 7% vacancy number here that we are underwriting to. Our other income growth would be 3%, and that's going to be kind of market specific as well, but that's a pretty good number. That's nowhere close to what inflation is, but at least we know that we've got some kind of rent growth there. Rent growth and other income growth as well. And so here we're going to do, so this is going to all be market rate units. And so I'm going to just delete these. I'll zero these out. So
I'm looking it up on Novogradac right now. It says the 4-person AMI is $124,900. That's really high. Does that sound right to you, Sadek? Like that's the average median income? Is it pretty high income earning neighborhood?
In that neighborhood, yes.
Okay.
They said the rents there are close to $2,800. So
yep.
What county was that, Kent?
It is Hennepin, Hennepin, Hennepin County,
Henne,
Epin.
Hennepin County.
Yep.
All right. And so that area median income being 124,000. If this were an affordable deal, focusing on people that make 80% of that income, your ideal tenant would make $99,200 a year.
Oh my God.
And that's affordable.
And that's affordable.
Okay.
And so there are going to be some potential incentives for doing this affordable that we'll talk about later, like maybe the financing could
Okay.
be higher leverage, could be longer term fixed costs, but let's just let me see, I've zeroed all of those out. Let me zero this out as well. Do we have any idea square footage of these units, the makeup of the units, how many ones, twos, and threes that we want to do here?
I don't have any idea right now. I know I want to only stay 1, 2, and 3. I don't want to go to 4.
Right.
But as far as square footage, why I don't know.
Is there a standard that we could base that on?
We typically do on 3 bedrooms, 5 to 10% of the complex. And so if we did 10%, we just do 6% in 3 bedrooms. We would typically do, depending on the market. Now, this is where some markets call for more 1 bedrooms and 2s. But if we just wanted to split that down the middle and say we got 54, so we do 22 2s and 22 1s. And that would be maybe a good way to just kind of start that out.
Okay.
And then maybe out of those 22 2s, we do 11 of those, and we do 11 of those. And so now we've got total 60. Oh, that's 50. Let's do 16. I don't know what I did. 16. There we go. And then we will not have an office here. And so these are some very common unit sizes. So I'll just kind of leave that there. 600 to 700 square feet for a 1. 2's typically 800 to 900, and your 3's 1,000 square feet. And that could be a little big, but we'll just play with those square foot numbers. Sadik, what did you say the rents were that you think in that market for your 1s, 2s, and 3s?
The ones are closer to the $2,000. So I've seen luxury being at 18, 19. And if that's where we're going, then okay. I've seen 2s being in the 25 to 26, 27. And of course, 3 now we're talking 3,500 in there.
How about that? 300.
And I think I sent you that email too, Alvin.
All right. Okay. And then we've got all the rental increases going across the board. This is 60 units. Let me zero these out. And let's assume that we'll have 25. $25 and 10. That's assuming an 8-month construction period. And we bring units online at well, let's not do that. That feels
Alvin, did you say 12 months construction? I missed what you just said. I'm sorry.
10-month construction period, and so you'll start using units in month number 11.
Okay.
And so the spreadsheet does pretty much everything else. Now,
Okay.
one of the things that I would recommend in a unit like this is I would recommend having your own laundry facility, washers and dryers in there.
So when you say wash and dry in each unit or just
In each unit,
in each unit? Okay,
and then you can charge for it.
got it.
And that market could be $75 a month, could be $100 a month.
Got it. Extra income.
You've got covered parking there, right? Because it's all underground.
Yeah, it's gonna be on the ground. So what we wanna do, we wanna do heated underground parking, which could be paid for whoever wants it.
Okay, so I'll just put 60 units here, minimum, just assuming everybody's got at least one car, or that you'll have 60 underground paid spaces at $80 a month.
Okay,
You'll have an amenity fee here, just because that'll pay for landscaping or whatever. No storage units, but if you did something underground with the parking, you might be able to do some closets down there and build in some additional income there, but let's just not count that into the income stream right now.
okay,
You got 60 units. I bet you half of the people are gonna have pets and they'll pay pet rent.
yep,
You'll have 60 units that you can charge a valet trash service for.
okay,
You got 60 units, probably 5 of them will pay late just because they do. App fees, forfeited deposits. 2. There will probably be no utility bill back service. Well, there may be. And that will probably be for the water because you'll pay for the water here. So you'll bill back 60 units times $30 a month for the water.
yeah,
And you'll get a contract with the cable company there
yep. Xfinity, of course.
where you can monetize their services and all this. So there's an extra $22,000 a month in ancillary income. That's big, especially on 60 units. That's $260,000 a year. That's a lot.
That's extra, right? On top of rent.
What am I doing? 267,980 divided by the 6 cap. 267,980 divided by 6 cap. That's extra $4 million in value just from that extra income.
Wow.
God. Okay. All right.
60 units. Let's just assume you have a manager here. What are the salaries in this? Well, I see they're 120,000. So let's just say that you're going to pay a $60,000 salary. You don't need an assistant manager here. You don't need that. And for maintenance,
Yep.
man, I'm gonna say you need a part-time guy that you'll pay that much to, and he'll actually double as a porter.
So part-time living on the property, isn't it how it's usually done?
It's too high to give away a unit.
Got it. Okay.
I mean, this thing's gonna be brand new. Everything's gonna be under warranty for a while. So you got a part-time maintenance guy changing AC filters and just doing stuff on an as-needed basis, really 4 hours a day. Your manager can get enough of what she needs out of that.
Got it. Okay.
And so I'll give you some numbers that will play with here. And this is a little high. So what we look for in our payroll numbers is typically somewhere between $1,200 and $1,400 per unit. So as a total, you got $102,000 here. We got $102,000 here. We got $1,700 a unit. So this manager may be a little bit overpaid for that job. So let's make her at $50,000. And that brings that a little bit closer in line with $1,500 per unit per year. Okay. Your general admin costs for a site this size is not, it's going to be typically, about $250 per door. And you'll probably have the same advertising marketing cost. You got your payroll number that came through from here. Your repair and maintenance is probably going to be somewhere about $350 to $400 a unit.
Yeah.
Same thing for your make ready. You guys don't have much pest up there because it's too freaking cold.
That's right.
Landscaping on something like that, you may have a $10,000 a year budget.
Well, it might be more than that because of snow, right? So snow needs to be plowed.
Well, you got underground parking, so what are you plowing?
Well, don't forget the people that are, because they're going to be commercial stores on there. So the people that are coming to work, right?
So you're going to build in some additional.
And I'm sure, well, when the winter hits, everyone's putting their car in the garage for sure.
Well, if you have commercial buildings, aren't the tenants responsible for the plowing?
They probably would be for their yeah.
Or can I factor that into their rent, the commercial people?
Well, let's how many square feet of commercial space are you thinking?
The whole, I mean, I don't know which design you're gonna come up with, Alvin, for this building, but what I'm envisioning, guys, please chime in. What I'm envisioning is the whole under that's commercial. Because when we went to the city, one of the things that the city said, like, we need stores in here. So the city's already crying and saying we need that. So
let's just assume you got 8 spaces down there at 1,200 square feet.
okay. That's
for 9,600. So I'll just put 10,000 square foot of space there.
okay. 10,000 square footage for commercial.
8 units, right?
Yep.
That could be a lot. I don't want to skew these numbers, but that commercial space could be up $253, $5 a foot. And so if I put that here, sorry, That skews those numbers like a whole lot.
50,000 for what? For,
Well, I mean, if you got 8 commercials downstairs that you're getting $5 a foot for, so each
yeah,
could be $4,000 a month, 5,000 a month.
true. Okay, times 8.
Or it could be, you know, it could be $1.50 a foot in that environment. But I don't want to skew the numbers from this. Because we can always put that in.
Okay,
Put that in. Let's just leave that out for right now.
okay,
Okay. I would like to get some more data on what that commercial space would lease for. And that'll come through more of our diligence process, okay? But let's look at these 60 units right here and just see if that part will be feasible. And if it is, then assuming that space is in need, and our market study will tell us that, then I know the city officials always say that they're looking for tax base. They're looking for sales tax dollars.
got it. Okay,
Let's just make sure that this part works. And if it does, then we can always back our way into adding that commercial space to it.
got it.
Okay. So let's get back to this landscaping. Utilities. Yeah, we bill back $30 for water. Oh, we're gonna call your utility bill $8,000 a month. Well, 24, that's 36,000. And that's really a little bit high. That's about right. So we got, I put 30,000 for utilities, of which you got 21,000 of the bill back for water. And so the difference will be your house lights around the property. Okay, so roughly $700-800 a month. Real estate taxes. Where is my box? I moved it.
Tedek, I'm looking at the neighborhood scout report for this neighborhood. It says 1.2% effective tax rate for property taxes. Does that sound right to you?
1.2. Does Minnesota have a state income tax?
They do.
Yeah, that's about right. In states where there is no state income tax, Kent, that's usually 2.8 to 3.1.
Yeah.
Texas is really, I think we're close to 3.1 in a lot of areas.
So help me understand. If it's too high, it's not good, and if it's low, it's good. Or what is the comparison there?
It just is what it is. So, in states where the income tax, where you guys have state income tax, the property taxes are typically half of what we pay in states where there is no state income tax.
Got it. Okay, and that's okay. Yeah, that's why people complain that taxes are high when it comes to Texas on houses.
So we got 25,200. Insurance on these 60 units. I'm gonna use $800 a door, just because insurance is kind of going up a little bit. And I've got a table here. Hang on, I need to get it from somewhere else. Because I don't have it on here for some reason. On the line. 1 second.
My head hurts just by looking at those numbers here.
Um, bum, bum, bum. All right. All right. And then this real estate taxes equal this. Now what we will do is we will come down here. All right, and go land acquisition costs. Oops, that's wrong. I did the wrong formula. Equals this. Okay, there we go. And so now, how much is the land?
So we're buying it. I'm gonna put in a 500,000 cash offer in there.
500,000.
Yeah.
All right, and then we got 60 units. I'm gonna use a round number of 200,000 a door for construction.
200,000 a door. Okay.
247 per square foot.
Okay.
My deal in Wisconsin with underground parking came
Yeah.
at about $190 a square foot. Okay.
Okay.
I did this one because you've got some retail underneath it.
Yep.
You've got underground parking and all of that. So I'd much rather assume this to be super, super high than
Okay.
numbers that are not near enough. And then what I'll do here is I'll just put in $1 million contingency.
Okay. I think, yeah, one more zero.
And that's high, but that's way high. All right.
Okay.
Civil engineering, architect costs. The BIF. Let's see. Let's just put 60,000 here. Let's put 250 here. And the municipal cost is a city cost of what may be they charge for a water tap, meter tap for each unit. And so sometimes that number actually is closer to.
What do you have in Wisconsin right now?
It's close to about $1,000 a unit.
Okay.
We've got 178 units, livable units. It was about 200,000. So I just again, rounding this number up just in case, unknowing, we'll get real close to that, okay?
Okay.
Interest reserve. This is subject, that developer fee. That could be 5%. That could be 15%. Just depends on what you want it to be. For now, let's just put that in there, 5%. Let's use $1 million here. I'll go through all these numbers in a minute. All right. Okay, so what I did here, I guesstimated on our cost of, here's your land cost. I put 200,000 on the door for construction. I gave us $1 million contingency for a total construction acquisition cost of 13 million. Engineer architect costs, sometimes, hang on, I did that wrong. Architect, engineer, everybody. I put 400,000. That's about 4.5% of the total cost of the project. Okay. Some of them go up to 8%. Let's just use that as a good placeholder. I got $1 million in interest reserve here. So that's assuming that we finance, and let's see if that works. Here, based on a $16 million loan, a $16 million all-in cost, with 11 million financed on a construction loan, 12%. Annual interest only payment, $1.3 million. So let's make this $1.3 million. Okay. Now, interest built in, there's your fee that you're gonna pay yourself. That I put bond underwriting fee costs. So whether we use bonds for this, whether you use a private lender for this, whatever you use for that, that should cover all lender fees, costs, and everything. Because even if it were a lender at hard money lender charging the 12% and a $13 million hard cost, if they charge you 4 points on that, that's still less than 600,000. So we're more than covered there. Closing cost 50,000. I put in $150,000 fee for your GC that'll get a performance bond to bond this. So let's just assume it all in 16 million. If we went to a traditional lender, they'd probably say a 70% LTV loan. So you've got a loan at 11.6 million. You got 12% interest rate, 30-year amortization. 30-year amortization. It's a 10, but it's based on a 10-year balloon, 24 months interest only. So the goal will be to get out of this loan in 24 months. Then you come back and refinance this thing at 70% LTV in, call it 24 months. Let's call it 36 months. Okay, 36 months. You got a 6.25 cap rate, 70% LTV, You got a $25 million value. You got a 7% long-term rate. You pull out $5 million in 3 years. And so how do you pay your guy back that just gave you the difference between your 16 million and your 11 million? There's his money back in 3 years. Real simple. And then if you wanted to break it up to where you had some pref, where you had different classes of equity to raise that 5 million, this thing will break it down as to how much each individual investor got. Here's your 10-year projection, 10 years. This thing's worth 39, almost 40 million. You pay off your debt. You got $27 million cash in 10 years. Is this feasible?
Guys,
And this is without any commercial space.
this is without any commercial space.
This is 60 units based on average rents of $2,300.
Morgan, Jake,
Yes. I like it.
all right. I think Jake wins somewhere, but I like it too. It makes the numbers, I mean, from what I'm saying, and not just without adding commercial space, of course, are great. Now, one of the things I want to ask when it comes to raising that 5 million that we have on there right now, is that something that you help with too? Is that something that you can, you help us with?
I'm not going to commit to that.
Okay.
We're raising 25, 30 million right now for a couple of projects. So I can't tell you that I can definitely help you with that. But what I can tell you is that the deck that you get will be investor friendly, ready for this. And your buddy that said, hey man, if you can put together a deal that works, then they'll see that. If we did this deal with, if there was an appetite to get this done in an affordable space with bonds, then that total amount of equity may just be $1.5 million to $2 million. There wouldn't be any property tax implications there. There could be some different advantages to help this be a better, well, I say better, to be a different type of deal. But with these kind of returns, Sadik, there's no way that if somebody had that kind of money, they would not want to participate with this.
Mm-hmm.
And this
there
will
are
be
captive audiences of investors that want this. We're tapping into them every day. I just don't want to promise you that we can provide that service.
got it. But also, what was I going? The question I had is, when it comes to construction and all that, because I read the will you mind sharing with the group what you will provide on your ad once we are on the contract, what you'll be responsible for, what I'll be responsible for, what we will be responsible for? I live in Minneapolis, so.
Our responsibility would lie in, so what we've done just now is put together a high-level underwriting deal to see if this project is feasible. And so what the consulting part will do from here is to shore up all of this information. How do we shore it up? First thing we do is we get the market study to show that these rents are applicable and appropriate. And if they are, it'll give us the highs and the lows of the market, what's coming and going in that market. And so that's our baseline for what we're doing. We see that it's feasible from our underwriting perspective. That market study will undergird our underwriting to show that the rents are applicable and et cetera. And then from there, we'll also be responsible for getting the entitlements in place, showing that this 2-lot can actually be entitled for the 60 units that you've been told. Somebody told you that, so we get in touch with the city and walk that all the way through the process of that, along with our engineer and architect, that the architect will come up with a footprint for the building that the engineer will need to get approved by the city. And so the city will approve that footprint and that platting along with that footprint of that building. And so from that platting process, and now you're entitled for 60 units, the value of your land goes from $500,000 to maybe 20 or 30 in this market, probably $30,000 a key. So it goes to probably $1.8 million, close to $2 million in value. And so from that $2 million in value, now you've got a $13 million project or $16 million project, whatever it was that we're building. You've got $2 million equity built into it, $1.5 million equity built into it. And so from there, we'll give you a deck that will include a lender quote of what they would actually loan on this project based on the appraisal that will be done on the land value as is and subject to the deal being completed. So we'll have an appraisal there. We'll have all of your third-party reports there, being your market study, your soil samples, and all of those things included, your geotechnical reports included to show that this building can be built there. And so it'll technically be, after the entitlement process, shovel ready for construction. But you'll have to go get you some blueprints and some engineering to finish that out. But the engineer that started that process will finish it out. He'll have the ability to finish it out based on that approval process. And then the architect that gave us the footprint can complete that footprint down to your construction docks. And so that process, depending on the municipality, a lot of times that entitlement process can be anywhere from 4 months to a year. And that's in a friendly environment. Non-friendly environments like California, et cetera, take a couple of years to do that. I think this can easily be done within 12 months. And once we get past the first few hurdles of entitlements and et cetera, sometimes you can go ahead and start with the architect to go ahead and finish out those blueprints so that by the time everything is approved, you've got construction docs approved as well. And so from there, now you're literally ready for a construction loan to build this.
So I do have an architect that has actually had the municipality of that city high friends, and he's the one that has been pushing, like he's going there. He already met with the director of zoning over there. Like he had high friends in Excelsior already. So he's like, well, if I can join your team, Sadek, and I can work with you, I can make sure that we speed up this process to get this project going.
Well, that's the guy we would definitely use.
Okay, all right. So,
and he's probably got an engineer friend that he works with that can help on that process. So we don't bring in strangers to the community. We bring in guys that are very well versed in working with their city officials to get these approval processes done.
Correct. And one of the things on that plot too, because it's been listed for a while now, and the agent told me that the reason why people are not putting offer is because the city is just not responding. They're overwhelmed. But from the day I met this guy, I met him on a Friday. By the next Wednesday, we got a response from one of the highest of the city saying, yep, plot makes sense. It's good. This is what you have. You just have to present it to the city, and then we'll go from there. So that's the difference there.
So the biggest piece that you guys will be responsible for will be some of the relationships that you've already established, plugging us in with those guys so that we can walk the process through with them. And then once we're done, talking to all your friends, Morgan and Jake, about the cash that we're gonna need. Whether it's $1 million or $5 million or whatever that number is. But the closer we get to this, and we'll have a couple of alternatives to seeing if you guys want to do this as an affordable deal, because we'll have to see how feasible that is in that market as well with the rents being so high. But I can tell you most communities that have an area median income that high are very, very excited about an affordable deal where you're setting units aside for the working class of 80% AMI. So getting that deal approved that way is probably very, very easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll have a couple.
Jay, question, go ahead, Morgan.
No, I'm just kind of blown away with, I didn't realize that there was a service that was provided for something like this.
It just came about, Morgan. We literally, I've been doing this. I've been doing real estate since high school, so 41 years. I've been in the commercial space with apartments since 2008. So about 14 years. And we've taken all of my experience in renovating properties, buying properties, building houses, owning apartments, buying apartments, and roll that all into a way that we could grow our business. Because like Kent said, we wanted 20,000 units. I didn't want to go pay 150, 200,000 a unit for some old assets. So we rolled all that information into how can we build these assets new for the same cost or less than what people are paying for them. And then as we did that for the nonprofit, we saw a need and an ability to serve a larger community by offering this as a consulting service. So the best way we can get 20,000 units is to help you get 60 units here, to help you get 200 units somewhere else, and help everybody else get their dream come true. And then guess what? Our dream is real easy to come true.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Amazing. And so the only thing we're doing through this process is taking the headache away from you guys so that you can go do what you do best, which is make money. Let us do what we do best, put these deals together, and we can all eat really well together, and you'll own your project. We're not asking for any ownership in it. We're just charging a fee to get this service done. And that's it.
That's
And
amazing.
guys, Alvin has a construction when it comes to construction company that he could suggest to us or bring to the table too. That is something that I actually read in the contract. Also, you told me about. So we won't have to worry about, okay, who's the GC interviewing the GC, or we won't have to worry about that. So that will be it's part of the package. So
our Rolodex is yours. The biggest thing that we need in from you guys are the relationships that you've already established in that particular marketplace. And that's with your architect, that's with his engineer, that's with your city councilman, and those guys that are going to help this approval process. Everything else can be outsourced. And so it gives us the ability to do that just about anywhere in the country.
right. And by the way, they actually want us to be at the city planning already next month. I'm like, oh, whoa. Let's back up a little bit. Let
You can
me
get there. Well, next month might be tough, but for September, you can get there.
Exactly, because of his friend, the architect, is like, yeah, they're asking us to be at the city plan. I'm like, okay, all right, but let's put in the offer first. So working with the agent, put in the offer, and then from there, once it gets accepted, then I think that's where we'll engage and go from there.
Yeah.
But also we've talked to we have a meeting with Elle actually this afternoon for the funding that you talked about. So we'll be meeting her at 4:30 today to go with that funding, and then I hope we get approved. And once we get approved for that, then that will cover your costs basically.
And Sadek, if you can get, I don't know, the link for the next planning and zoning meeting or city council meeting, whenever they have it, I think it'll be good for us to attend to see what questions the neighborhood is asking. We want to be as prepared as possible entering that conversation. If we know that there's oppositions to developments, then we might look at more of the affordable housing development much more heavily, right? Because Alvin and my goal is to create as many affordable housing units in the world as possible. So we're happy to take that route, especially if it helps get everything approved a lot faster.
Got it. That's a great point. All right. I'll definitely
That's a great idea. We can attend virtually, but Sadek, you may want to start attending these so that your face will be familiar, and they'll get to know who you are and what you're doing.
Yep, I will definitely do that. I'll put that on there, and if I will ask if you guys could also attend virtually, because I'll say it's my team. We're together working here. So,
not just the P&Z, but also your city council meetings.
Okay, city council meeting too. Okay.
Because once P&Z approves it, then it's got to go to city council.
Okay.
Hey, Sadek, when's the next election for the city council? I'm going to recommend that you run.
Well, I don't know if I'll win that. Let me be in the real estate world and continue building those stuff and continue there for now. Politics, nah, take me away from it. But yeah, any question, guys? I mean, for me, looking at those numbers, at least, just throwing out numbers out there, it's definitely helpful. And looking forward to that and knowing that we did not even add commercial to it is definitely enticing. So yeah. Guys, if you have any question, please ask, but we'll be having those meetings as we're going, as things are unfolding and we're moving forward. I believe this week I will put in the offer. I will let you guys know, Morgan, as well, for all that. So as things are unfolding, I will let you know.
Sounds good. Thank you. Kent, it was good to see you again.
Yeah,
Alvin,
for sure. Hopefully we
nice
can
to
partner on
meet
this.
you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, super nice to meet you guys.
Yes, sir. And I just shared that underwriting model with Sadik, so he can share it with you guys more.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, I'll drop it in on Google Drive, actually, by the way, guys, so you guys can pick it from there.
Thank you.
So much.
All right, well, thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day. Kent, I'll jump on your YouTube right away, go there, and I'll put some on your calendar.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, you too.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Okay. So what we had here was a consulting meeting with one of our clients. They've hired us as Springboard Real Estate Advisors to put together a 60-unit deal in Excelsior, Minnesota. And we're excited about it. You saw from the underwriting that it was a very feasible project. And so, as I mentioned, that what we'll do is we'll shore up the numbers through our consulting, make sure that this can literally be entitled, as the city officials have given our client the nod. So we'll walk that entitlement process through and get him in a position to go build 60 units. So we're super excited about that. If you guys are interested in building your dream, in owning your own apartment complex, if you have the ability to talk to your sphere of influence, yours, and garner enough support to raise equity, then you can get your deal too. Give us a call. My telephone number is 214-491-7411. My email is alvin@372hope.org. Look forward to seeing y'all soon. Dream on dreaming. Look, my best investment is me. If you took